finally got to the drink.
And I got no problem with anybody choosing Miami for anything. It's a great place to live. I totally get it. It's fantastic. You're never going to get criticized. Basically, in the NFL, you're making your big money in your second and third contract. You don't make your number one team. You don't make the big generational money in your second and third contract. And a lot of guys are like, I got a ring. I'm going to get paid. I got no problem with it. But like Bobby Wagner to the Rams, I think he can get more money other places. Bobby wants to win. He won early in Seattle. He knows how much money he got the last 3 years. I love him. LeBron went to Miami to win. Push him out. LeBron went back to Cleveland to win. Got a terrible roster, a weird front office, and a wonky ownership situation. There are way better places for LeBron to go. Great guys play to LA, the LA economy, which is the fifth biggest fifth biggest economy in the world. He moved here for our economy, for the tech, for the entertainment business. He moved here because he don't really want to. Cleveland, he doesn't go to Miami or any other place to and he did well. LA was you're ready to win. The Kevin Durant to Brooklyn is not about winning. It would be great to win. He may think he can win, but you don't leave a dynasty and think I'm going to win way more. You don't leave Steve Kerr, Steph, Clay, Draymond, Bob Meyer. You don't leave that thing, I'm going to win way more. I'm not criticizing athletes. My career lasts a long time. Theirs, you got to make your money in your second and third contract. And this is a sport where people tackle you. So your careers are not very long. Drew Lord, I remember those days. You were just out there taking big swings and taking heat. Now you're like a stately figure in this whole business. And you just made Tyreek Hill the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. So let's kind of take me as much as you possibly can, as transparent as you can be on the whole situation. Kansas City did make it. I mean, my understanding is they wanted to keep him. So take me through the last 48 hours if you could.
Yeah, and it really goes back. I approached the Chiefs, Colin, about doing an extension for Tyreek. They were open to it. We exchanged some proposals, and then the Davante Adams deal got done. And I reached out to the Chiefs and I shared with them that I felt that Davante's deal was the floor for Tyreek, and that Tyreek in the last year of his contract had earned the right to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. We started negotiating, and they quickly saw that, that for them that deal didn't make sense. And I don't want to speak for them, but they communicated to us that wasn't going to work out. So I suggested, how about we explore a trade where everybody wins? Tyreek could land a windfall, and Davante Adams brought a first and second round pick, and I told the Chiefs that I was confident that they would get much more than that. Ultimately, they did. And the Chiefs did give me permission to work on a trade, and Miami was one of the teams that showed interest right out of the gate. We continued to negotiate with the Chiefs, but Tyreek just felt the best about the Dolphins. The contract obviously was superior. Playing in Florida was huge because Tyreek changed in Miami in the offseason. The Dolphins were a good team the last 2 years. They've won 19 games. They've got the potential to be better this year. They brought in an offensive head coach in Mike McDaniel. They brought back their entire defense, which was one of the best in the league. Tyreek liked the idea of being close to his home. He lives in upstate Florida. He's from Southern Georgia, so that's why he said he's coming home. I mean, it feels like home for him, and everything added up. This is an up-and-coming football team, and he's excited about being here.
Do you ever get into a situation, I don't know who represents Mahomes. I don't know that. Off the top of my head, I think, is it Lee Steinberg? I don't even know. Is it Lee? I don't know. It is Lee, okay. So do you ever get into a situation where you have two clients that work together, like a receiver and a quarterback on a team, and you may not be doing one a favor by moving the other? Is that ever something that you think about?
Well, you really can't, Colin. You've got to compartmentalize for each of your clients. For example, if Tyreek had gone to the New York Jets, it could have impacted one of our clients on the New York Jets, who they just re-signed, Braxton Berry. Sure. That's in his best interest, because it would negatively affect Braxton, and he gets that. So, I've been doing this, but our clients get that, but I can't control the type of contract that our guys get and their opportunity. And in this particular case, Tyreek felt really good about coming to Miami. We have a lot of clients on this football team. You can make the case that the Dolphins have had the best offseason. They added Teron Armstead, the great left tackle. They signed a couple of our clients, Chase Edmonds, the running back from Arizona, Connor Williams, starting left guard from the Dallas Cowboys. They brought back Emmanuel Ogden, who's one of our clients, one of the best players on the team. They re-signed the two starting linebackers who represent Landon Roberts and Duke Riley. You look at Miami, they added Raheem Mostert and Keon Croson, and they've had a great offseason. So Tyreek's excited to be a part of that tremendous offseason.
Cultural changes in all sports. About 7 years ago, if you couldn't shoot a three-pointer in the NBA, you were worthless. Dwight Howard went from relevant to irrelevant in an hour. And we have a cultural change in the NFL, which is happening, which every NFC team that made the playoffs had an offensive coach. The Dolphins have pivoted quickly to an offensive franchise, which I think, and I love Brian Flores, I think is the right move. Rams, Zach Taylor, you can see what's happening in this league. The old defensive coaches, Pete Carroll, Mike Zimmer, Vic Fangio, even Belichick now. It doesn't feel as vibrant. But when the culture changes quickly, and suddenly wide receivers are getting quarterback money in the last 2 years, when you call these franchises, are they mad at Drew Rosenhaus? Are they flabbergasted? This has happened, Drew, fast. We're talking quarterback money to wideouts. It feels like it happened overnight.
To the teams, I told every one of them what we were looking for. I told them that Adams' contract on every level. Receiver. He's a great return man. He's a guy that can score from anywhere on the field. You put the ball in his hands. He's incredibly dangerous. He can make his own yards. He's an impact player when the ball's not even thrown to him, because teams have to worry about him. He takes the top off of the defense coverage-wise. You got to rotate his way. So people around the league know Tyreek is a huge factor on all 3 downs and also on 4th down on special teams. So he's a weapon, and the Dolphins got the best offensive weapon in football, and we feel like had it not have been the Dolphins, the Jets
You represent him. What's the latest? It's time to move on. But he's really, really liked in the room. So what do? I think you do what Von Miller does. This is the great additive of a wonderful culture. New England did this for years. You bring Randy Moss in, he's highly productive, win a bunch of games, then it's time to so Von Miller's a great example. They love Von Miller. Didn't give up much to get it. Hugely instrumental in winning Super Bowl. They're willing to bring him back at a number that Vaughn can by far beat on the market. And then Vaughn leaves and goes, give it the numbers right. But I think they're going to draft another wide receiver. When you have the #1 volume wide receiver in the history of the league, Cooper Kupp, and then you go get Allen Robinson, you know what? You can be young, and Van Jefferson, you can be young in the rest of your receiving corps. Young guys generally are healthier. They get nicked up and returned to the field because your keeper's got a lot of games on it. Allen's been injured before. So we'll see. March, one of my favorite months of the year. Later today, starting I think at 4 Eastern. March Madness games. So what do you have planned? Gas prices high. What about staycations at home? Your summer day. Love about a pool plus a massage stick. The massage jets on the other for relaxation. Great for the family. All of them 100% made in the USA. Michael Phelps. Good. NaturalSpas.com. Upper right side.
It's from noon to 3 Eastern, 9 a.m. to noon Pacific.
Buy your next car from anywhere you want at driveway.com. They've got over 25,000 new and used vehicles, all inspected by experts. All with transparent, no haggle prices. Driveway.com.
The USFL is coming starting on April 16th and kicks off with a historic opening game as the New Jersey Generals take on the Birmingham Stallions in primetime on Fox and NBC.
By the way, you can have a 3-point extra point for USFL. You can do a 1-point conversion, 2-point. They also have a 3-point if from the 10-yard line you successfully design a play that gets into the end zone. Which is fun. Yeah, I mean, every time football screwed around with the PAT, it's made football better. Yeah. Like every time. You never watched it. Now, on a windy day, it's like a 60-40 proposition if a kicker can kick a PAT. So it's added a ton of that. I want to say this, DK Metcalf, there are a lot of discussions this morning that Kansas City, the Chiefs, and Green Bay are interested in Tyreek Hill. So he's not the best route runner in the NFL. He's going to be temperamental. Not my favorite quote. Yes. But he has 29 touchdowns in 3 years with a conservative range. So there's no body. Big, strong, 6'4", 235. Arguably the second fastest player at wide receiver. Maybe the second fastest NFL player to Tyreek Hill. He's a very unique athlete. And again, this is a conservative offense. He's got a little bit of a Des Bryant, but I didn't like Des Bryant's routes. I thought he was too temperamental, but in the end, he got to the end zone a lot. And I think DK Metcalf is going to have a better career than Des Bryant because I think he's going to end up with Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, and he just started his career with Russell Wilson. So I think he is very interesting to me. He's a unique body. Also, both Kansas City and Green Bay are great fits for him. They both need him. They both have offensive coaches. And they have good culture, so they can withstand. I mean, he's somebody who's got opinion, and he can be temperamental. Because Kansas City has an owner. And I know this sounds silly, but this has been one of my misgivings about the Packers, is that Kansas City literally can go to a member of the Hunt family, Brett Beach, and he can just say, get him. Green Bay, do we have to hold a meeting? Do we have to hold shares? Can you just go get him? Can you make a decision today? If you start looking at a lot of these teams that are going big in free agency, they're rich owners, they're aggressive owners. The Rams, Stan Kroenke, richest owner. A lot of these people going out there. Well, I think, by the way, Pittsburgh, although it's not like good ownership, right after it and had a plan. I think more of the Raiders today than I did a year ago. They have been wildly aggressive. And my guess is, remember, last year, coming off a pandemic, Vegas had a new stadium. They were trying to find more parking spaces around the stadium. Now they're flush with cash. You know, the gambling money, the TV deals. It's not a pandemic. It's sold out crowds. The Raiders made the playoffs. So now the Raiders are flush with cash, and Mark Davis, to his credit, has gone big. He's gone big as coach, big in a pass rusher, big in a wide receiver. So I think Kansas City, Green Bay, I think he would work with both. I think now, Green Bay is more desperate than Kansas City. They have Hartman. They got a great tight end. They've got Green Bay is desperately and I see DK Metcalf as a 1A or a really great 2 on a lower end 1. I don't think he's a DeAndre Hopkins. I don't see him as that. Cooper Kupp is not that consistent, but he gets into the end zone. He is absolutely Green Bay's player. It'll be interesting, though, if they get beat out by Kansas City. Because Kansas City wants it, but they're not quite as desperate. They're not quite as desperate. It also tells you, think about this, Seattle got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, another pick later. So now they move DK Metcalf, they're going to get at least the first round pick. My guess is they'll get like a first. Tyreek Hill kind of changed the market. They got 5 picks for Tyreek Hill. My guess is you would have gotten a first for DK Metcalf. Now you'd probably get a first and a third for him. So Seattle's full rebuild mode. We lost our 2 best players. We got good safeties, a nice left tackle. We're moving off DK Metcalf. If they do, they're going with Atlanta, full rebuild mode, getting a new quarterback this or next draft. My guess is Seattle would prefer to get one this draft. Atlanta's looking to next year. Alex Curry with the news.
Heard on the news. This is the Hardline News.
Well, we've been talking about him all day. Tyreek Hill is on his way to Miami. The Dolphins acquired him yesterday, sending 5 draft picks to the Chiefs in exchange for the receiver. Hill posted a statement after the news thanking his Kansas City teammates, coaches, and fans for supporting him since being drafted in 2016. But he's also ready for the next chapter and spoke about how excited he is.
Great, but they've added pieces. So outside of Kansas City, and we don't know if they'll get DK Metcalf, you say, oh, Miami got better. So did everybody else in the NFC.
Yeah.
So Pittsburgh is better today. They were a playoff team. So Indianapolis is better with Matt Ryan. I think it's great for Tyreek, but let's not kid ourselves. The fastest receiving core doesn't win the Super Bowl. You got to have the coach, the quarterback. There's a lot of things that matter. That's generally not that crucial.
No, and it's Tua's kind of make or break here, so it'll be interesting. All right, well, LeBron was out for the Lakers last night with a left knee soreness, and the team lost to the Sixers 126-121, and they are hanging on to a spot in the play-in tournament as the 9th seed in the West, but the Pelicans are right behind them, just a half a game back in the standings, and the 2 teams play on Sunday, and Russell Westbrook says they know how important it is to get this win.
It's a game that we definitely want to win. And I think if we have our mind set in the right place and do what we've been doing, playing the right proper basketball, I think we put ourselves in a position to be able to win the game. And, it's going to be a playoff happening for us because it's definitely a must win, I believe, for the park.
Well, they're not a championship team, so they were never a difficult team to assess. 3 games into the season, everybody watched it and said they don't shoot the three, they don't defend it, and they're really old. Not only the starting 5, but the bench. So this is just an average team that's going to have to completely reboot, and I don't have much confidence in that in the offseason. It's not. Stop telling me if Anthony Davis is healthy. He's not. That's who he is. That's like saying, if Sean Gates is great, he doesn't have it, let's stop arguing. Anthony Davis, you're not going to get 100 games in a season. No, that's not going to happen. No. So the bottom line is, I would have moved him before this season. I think you still have to consider moving him at the trading deadline. This is no longer a championship brand for the foreseeable future. And people in LA have got to come to terms with that. To make a trade in the NBA, you have to swallow a bad contract to get one out. So it's not the NFL where I can cut a guy. I mean, I can literally, you get Tyreek Hill, I get a bunch of draft picks. Yeah. It doesn't work that way in the NBA. For competitive balance, which I still think is a bunch of malarkey, but the Lakers are trapped for years, barring a wild trade that somebody falls.
Well, the little glimmer of hope hope for Laker fans is that a new report this morning came out that AD's foot sprain is progressing well, and if it continues that way, he could be back the first week of April at the earliest. The play-in tournament starts April 12th. LeBron's still dealing with a little soreness, so their two best guys are not 100% healthy. As a Laker fan, yeah, like you said, sometimes you just gotta suck it up and defeat. It's okay. Moving on. Things got fiery for the Miami Heat last night during the team's loss.
Number 3
is separated from them during the incident, but after the game, coach made it clear that there are not really any.
A very competitive, gnarly season to catapult you. You get galvanized together, over frustration and disappointment, but we have needed a kick in the butt.
Number one in the East. Yes, we know players are very passionate and emotional, but this should not be happening on the court. We need to get out of it. This just was not a great for the Eagles.
Alex for the news. Hustler Turf, the brand lawn care professionals have relied on for 6.5 decades. If you're like a weekend lawnmower person, I'm one of those. They also have a bunch of residential mowers for us too, right? There's a lot of lawn care brands out there. You go to a big box retailer, there'll be 6, 7 different brands. They're all fine. Hustler Turf doesn't want to do fine. What they're into, their brand is high performance steering, heavy duty frame construction, precision cut quality, lots of testing. Their engineers designed it so it can't be broken. 6.5 decades of building lawnmowers is what they do, and they do it well. They don't ask you to buy them at a big box retailer. You go to a Hustler Turf dealer. There's over 1,400 nationwide. Google it, look it up, you'll find one near you. You buy your mower there, you get your replacement parts there, you get your service there. All done incredibly high level. HustlerTurf.com.
You're listening to The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Colin is live weekdays at noon to 3 Eastern, 9 a.m. to noon Pacific from Los Angeles. And we're back. We're back to The Herd.
We'd just like to say thank you. The response has been overwhelming. It's been amazing. People don't say that enough in our business.
Back to The Herd with Colin Cowherd from Los Angeles.
Is your bracket completely busted? Well, don't worry, because Fox Bet Super 6 is giving you a free chance to win $1,000 playing their Round of 16 contest. Scan the QR code, download the Super 6 app, and make your picks for a free chance at the jackpot.
All right, it's crazy. It's a crazy time. I watched the media react to Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins, and everybody doom and gloom. Chiefs are done. No, they're not. Andy Reid, Mahomes, 12 picks in the draft, some cap space. They're fine. You're not going to get Tyreek Hill in the draft, but what if you hit on 2 receivers? They're going to be fine. Miami, they got a really fast receiver. The Raiders with Al Davis had that for 20 years. They didn't win any Super Bowls. I mean, that's not now. I'm going to bring in Mark Dominic, who's an NFL general manager, 20 years of scouting experience, front office experience. Built that Super Bowl team, helped build it. So I look at the Tyreek Hill thing, and it's just unbelievable. Literally overnight, Amari Cooper got you a 5th rounder. 2 weeks later, Tyreek Hill gets you 5 picks. It does seem excessive to me. I'm sorry. That's what you get for quarterbacks. Am I sound too old school?
No, I don't think so, Colin. I felt the same way when I saw the value when they got Tyreek Hill. I thought the trade was pretty easy to make. I mean, again, yes, he can change the game, can do all these different things. They already have Jalen Waddle. Down in Miami. I don't see this being the piece for the Dolphins that are going to put them over the top. And I don't see them really talented division. For a 5, that's a good trade for a wide receiver.
Oh my God! I mean, when I saw it yesterday, I was just like 5. Russell Wilson got 5 picks. Now they weren't as good, but I mean, a 1st and a 2nd for a wide receiver is almost unheard of. And then they added 3 more picks. And they also got it off the books, so they got Cameron now. So DK Metcalf, so it's interesting. As a body, there's nothing like him in the league. He looks like a defensive end. There is value there. It looks like Seattle wants picks to rebuild. which they need to rebuild. This is a bad roster. So from Seattle's point, I get it. So if you Green Bay or Kansas City, is a player you can use. If you're Kansas City, do you go get him again? Do you just say, hey, we lost one guy, we're going to get a little cheaper guy? Actually, is a body mismatch, like Tyreek was a speed mismatch.
I think in Kansas City situation, I think I would rather go to the draft of Kansas City and where they sit, where they're going to be picking in the draft. Because this draft, once again, just like every year, seems like it's got a lot of wide receivers. This draft has another group of wide receivers that are really talented. And I think you can find some London Drake could be a great example of a guy you can get early in the first round, maybe a little bit later, and you put him on your football team, and suddenly you're going to get a mismatch there too. Before you got made but I think I would draft in Green Bay. I look at it different. I think you've got a shorter window there. Obviously, with Aaron Rodgers having X amount of years, you put the number one back in there. I think Metcalf makes more sense in Green Bay than it would for me in Kansas City.
Okay, that makes sense then. Yeah, and they're more desperate, by the way. Even though it's a weak division, a much weaker division. You look at the Rams and the Bucs in the NFC, they have got multiple top receivers. I said this yesterday, joke. I said, everybody said Matty Ice is old, and I'm like, he was old when he was 27. He's never been young and dynamic. I used Gene Hackman, the actor, as an example. I said, when Gene Hackman was in his 30s, he played 48 years old on the screen. He was never Ryan Gosling, so he aged very gracefully. Matt Ryan isn't that different than he was 7 years ago to me. I think he is declining, but I think it's not a big bend off a cliff thing, right?
No, I don't think it's going to be anything like that. And I think the Colts also look at this as a chance to, like they did with Phillip Rivers, put a veteran quarterback into this roster and see if they can get you to the postseason. Then you got to do something in the AFC. And it wasn't going to be Baker Mayfield, and I don't know what's going to happen with Jimmy Garoppolo. Obviously, it's a shoulder surgery, but I don't think he'll be San Francisco. I think Kyle Shanahan is going to be especially at that price. So they had to do something at quarterback to have a chance to get a wild card. Now they get Matt Ryan. I think that gives them an opportunity to, again, put them around these players, put them around Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, around an offensive line, maybe get an offensive tackle in the draft and really kind of go to work. I think the Colts made a good move here in terms of solidifying the position and getting a lot of experience because you're going to need that to navigate the South.
So it's interesting. There's a lot of quarterbacks with new teams. Marcus Mariota can't stay healthy. Somebody signed him. Trubisky, limited arm talent. Somebody signed him. Deshaun Watson, 23 civil cases. Somebody signed him. Carson Wentz, wildly inconsistent, but he signed him. You can't tell me Baker Mayfield's not one of the 32 most talented quarterbacks. Is this a cautionary tale? Likability, I know fans think it doesn't matter. The ability, this is what got Jay Cutler out of the league. The lack of the ability to get along with coaches and teammates. Is it just that simple for Baker? Because you can't convince me there's 32 other quarterbacks in America more talented than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot to be said with what you're talking about. And I think Baker Mayfield, I think he presents himself that way. He's kind of done it since the beginning. He's trying to be fun, but it's almost to the point where you're like, I'm not sure I get this guy. Whether it's the Brett Favre photo of him trying to like reenact something, it's the commercials and the constant commercials. You just wonder if there's a lot of executives out there, head coaches that are wondering like, how important is football to him? And I think Baker loves football, but I also think that the reason there's no market is number one, it's $18 million. Maybe the Browns have to pay for some of that. Number two, we're kind of I'm sure this is the piece. That's where Carson Wentz. Look, we can beat up the Deshaun Watson trade all you want. We can talk about the civil lawsuits and everything like that. When you got a chance to get a quarterback that's a top 3, top 4 quarterback in the National Football League, could be the number 1 quarterback in the NFL, you go do it. And I understand the contract was tremendous, and the owner had to write a huge check to be able to get this Deshaun Watson deal completely done. But now it's a destination spot, much like what we're seeing with other locations like Tampa was able to be with Tom Brady. People want to get to Cleveland, so I think this is going to only help Cleveland along the way. And so I think Cleveland, because of this quarterback, to change their dynamic of that division specifically because of Lamar Jackson and trying to get through him, or certainly Joe Burrow, Cleveland just put themselves at the top of the class. Unbelievably talented AFC quarterback.
Good stuff. Mark Dominic, 20 years of doing this. Good seeing you again.
It's great to see you, Colin.
Yeah, it's, yeah, you're on the road with these guys, you practice. I knew people, you know, somebody told me this years ago, a general manager in the NBA, you don't want to go to bed at night, your phone's next to you, and you kind of think, I may get a call at 4 in the morning from my owner, police, you know, whoever. You don't want that. And I likability's a thing. Mahomes, likable. Herbert, likable. You know, this has been the knock on Kyler Murray that I have sourced. He's different. He's not all the guys. You know, when he's been going through these struggles, nobody's running to his defense. No teammates are jumping out on social media to defend him. They never did with Jay Cutler. They don't with Baker Mayfield. You know, I know it sounds corny and Midwestern and you gotta be a nice person. You really do. I worked in this business for 25 years. All you think about media is egos, the people that are hard to get along with. I've worked with less talented people that are easy to get along with. Companies find a way to move off talent if talent's a pain in the butt. So do NFL teams. There's no reason Baker doesn't have a market. There's no... 18 million is not that expensive. No civil suits, arm talent. You know, he's had one injury, but Mariota can't stay healthy. He's not 37. There's no reason he doesn't have a market. The only reason, he's too toxic. Lightning Bruins tonight. Discover car key matchup. Learn more. Discover.com/match. Discover matches all the cash back you earn at your first year automatically and with no limit. Hour 3 next. We all have different ideas about success. We achieve it at different times, in different ways. Let's say you recently changed jobs. You're probably thinking about your version of success. Maybe it's time to start thinking about your investment. With Stifel, you don't have to. Portfolio designed around your needs. As a client, you'll have access to Stifel's award-winning equity research and investment strategy views, enabling you to make informed decisions. Your hard-earned wealth. Invest in your success. Find a Stifel financial advisor. So sure they can't win the national championship. So it's a really, there's no great team. Now, who's healthy? Who gets the whistle? There's going to be a lot of complaining about officials because nobody's good enough to blow anybody out. These teams are all really close. So, you know, it's going to be who's healthy, who's in foul trouble, whose stars are on the floor. These games are all going to be decided by sharks. I don't see a ton of blowouts. No. But Arizona's I think you have them winning it.
We both have them winning the tournament.
The best team I saw, but when I saw them, I think they look better in the regular season than they have in March. They're turnover prone. They've been totally sloppy. But I think it's like Phoenix. The Phoenix Suns are the best team I've seen this year. And the Arizona Wildcats are the best team I've seen this year. I think I feel more confident about the Phoenix Suns. Because they could have lost that game. Well, yeah, very easily. Oh, there's an argument to be made. They got a very favorable whistle.
Yes, they did. And TCU did not.
Yeah.
And it was...
All right. We're going to get some off-season NFL grades at the end of the show today. Andrew Cooper's top 5. He's watching this crazy league. Yesterday, the Chiefs kind of shocked the world by moving off Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins. All I'm hearing from KC fans in the country is, Laker Dynasty, Kobe and Shaq's Yankee Dynasty, guys got old. There was none. They couldn't get to a second years, 2 titles. Are desperate. Kansas City would like him, not as desperate. Kansas City got 1 picks, 2 firsts, 2 seconds. I think they may have 2 fourths. So one of the better GMs. So gonna be fucking. This is actually made. Some of these teams, there's a lot of teams in the league that have. Green Bay's got multiple firsts, like good teams. Kansas City's got multiple firsts. Usually it's all the bad teams. Caroline will have multiple firsts, and Jets will have multiple firsts at the bottom of the first round, but you have some really good teams with multiple picks. I tried to eat right, not perfect. As you age, need that little stamina boost, little energy boost. How about M-Drive Start? 7 clinically tested ingredients. 6 premium proteins. Boost your energy and your strength. Go to mdriveformen.com, get it delivered right to your door with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Don't you try, right? Just want a little more of a boost. 60-day money-back guarantee.
With Colin Cowherd. To hear more sports action, listen to Fox Sports Radio on iHeartRadio.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. The U.S. and its allies remain firmly united in efforts to help Ukraine during the ongoing Russian invasion. That's what President Biden said following meetings with allies in Brussels. He stated that Russian President Putin thought NATO would be divided.
NATO has never been more united than it is today. Putin is getting exactly the opposite way he intended to have as a consequence of going into Ukraine.
More refugees from Ukraine who are seeking asylum are being allowed to cross into the U.S. from Mexico, but some Russian nationals are reportedly being denied. Cliff Albert explains.
They are mostly women and children. The number of Ukrainian refugees at the border is growing, but some asylum seekers from Russia, like this woman from St. Petersburg, say they're being denied entry into the U.S.
We're going to wait until the, Title 42 to be removed, and, maybe then we will be able to cross.
The Department of Homeland Security has told U.S. border agents that case-by-case exceptions to Title 42 can be applied to Ukrainians. Title 42 is the pandemic-era policy that immigration advocates say is used to block certain migrants from claiming asylum.
Text messages show the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas urged then White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows to continue efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The Washington Post and CBS News report a total of 29 texts were sent between Virginia Thomas and Meadows. Congressman John Larson is proposing a bill that would provide stimulus payments to Americans to offset soaring energy costs. The Connecticut Democrats bill would provide $100 a month per person for tax filers and dependents. It would be issued in similar fashion to the 2020 and 2021 stimulus checks. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
You're hearing a replay of The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Hear Colin live right here, weekdays from noon to 3 Eastern, 9 a.m. to noon Pacific.
Endless hot water, choose Navien. Get all the hot water you need for as long as you need it. Right now, save hundreds too on Navien. Tankless water heaters, local rebate. TanklessMadeSimple.com. Check it out, TanklessMadeSimple.com. NFL Walter Payton Man of the Year. He's going to end up in the Hall of Fame. 16 years, 4-time Pro Bowler, 1 sack allowed the whole postseason. It wasn't even his fault, to be honest with you. The running back banged on his leg, and next thing I knew, you were you got playing for it, though.
I was pretty mad.
Left tackle. Left tackle couldn't protect. That running back rolling on my knee. Okay, so I want to go back. You could have played again. You were the highest rated pass blocking left tackle, I think, in 1 or 2 in the NFL. So at some point, you have your health, but you never played for money. You did well. Why'd you retire?
I think for me, it really came down to I've accomplished a lot of what I wanted to in my career, and there's a lot of people I've got to, be a part of teams with and be coached by, and just, chase the dream of winning a Super Bowl. And I think when I really looked at it going into the postseason, I felt like no matter how this game ends, you've done it all, you've had an amazing experience, and let's just treat it as this is one last ride and see what happens. And so when you win the Super Bowl, when you take that approach, you got to go with what your gut was. And I thought for me, it was not that I couldn't come back next year and be a great left tackle, but that I've done it. I'm 40 years old, I've accomplished a lot, and it's time to move on to the next journey.
You're the rare combination of gifted, really super smart, and willful. A lot of times guys are good, they just don't have the will. You're a rare combination of that. And we talked off screen, the Rams would like to keep you around in advisory roles, which I think is brilliant. When was the moment, like Stafford's obviously talented, but you don't really know him. I mean, you were an AFC guy in Cincinnati, you still know. You may have faced him once or twice. Take me to the season, the moment, because he ended up being the best second-half quarterback in the league. And there was that Tennessee game where it went sideways. Everybody's bailing on Matt Stafford. But if I'd have never met Matt Stafford or didn't know him, like, take me to a place when you were like, boy, this guy is, I've played with a lot of dudes, he's different.
You know, I think one of the first times really for me was our first 3 days of training camp. We went out for a practice just in helmets, had like a 2-minute drill, and he was just on fire, hitting everything. Had a great day, but there was probably a play somewhere early in practice where we messed up a cadence or didn't get the right verbiage out on a huddle call. And the next day we're sitting in meetings and Sean's kind of going over and he almost like stops him. He's like, no, coach. He's like, it's my job to get that call out. Like that's my bad. You know, it's nobody else's fault. This came out wrong. It's only mine. You know, brought into this conversation. It's on me. I got it. And that continued every day of the season until we won the Super Bowl. So he was the first guy to have talent. Those kind of moments. So I'm Matthew Stafford. I'm a great football player, and you're going to know my name when this thing's over with.
So the Tampa game was a little bit of a tire fire in the second half. And that throw to Cooper Kupp over the top is the biggest moment, arguably in LA sports in 4 or 5 years. It was, but the center snapped over, and it just, you've been in these games before. So we got to get the momentum back. And then it makes that throw. Kind of go back into the huddle, go back into that drive. Because I remember saying on the air, man, they could have taken a knee and said,
get to overtime and then try and beat them there, because you really look at the time that was left and really there's really no shot of having a chance to really win this game in this moment unless you have some kind of big catch happen. And I think when that catch on the sideline by Cooper, and the other part that people don't think about is what an amazing job he did of getting out of bounds and not getting dragged down the field, not trying to extend the play, just realizing this is a chunk play, and then to bounce back and get caught with a situation where Matthew realizes running clock, they're bringing a 0, I'm going to just air that. That's one of those things where what happened, I have no idea, I blocked out, and I just played. That's literally how he was, and he is so fired up and into this, because it really saw his passion come out. Not just the good quarterback, but how much it meant to him. And I think the team saw that, and it was just like, man, this guy's been our guy, it's been a rival year, but even more reason to fall in love with him is the passion he just showed for wanting to win this game no matter what.
you know, there's a lot of money in this league right now. I mean, we just saw a receiver get traded for 5 picks. And Matt didn't take the most money. His salary cap hit is remarkably low. And you never took the most money. But then said, man, I love those guys. Explain. I never blame an athlete for taking money. I wouldn't have left Mahomes. But I get what Tyreek's doing. No state tax, on water, I get it. If I explain the Rams culture to me and McVay, because players now leave it, and they're literally like Von Miller, like, oh my God, I love it. That was the most fun. OBJ, big pride, like, love it. Explain it to people who don't get your access to it. What is it like?
I think really it's an environment where it's just about football, and it's just about going off and playing like we're in the yard. We're studying, we're preparing for it. Actually said it best. I remember hearing him do an interview. Be prepared for whatever that next step is.
Okay, now I want you to put your executive hat on, because the Rams want to retain you in some role, which they should. Allen Robinson, I love him. He didn't have great quarterback play. As a pro football great. Allen Robinson, explain him if I've never seen him play. Why they went and got it.
I think you really look at it. I mean, Cooper Kupp is your guy in LA, and really has separated himself. Had that year where all of a sudden now you're not just a great player that people pay attention to. You're the star. And so you look at it. I think Allen Robinson's a guy that can come in and take on those one-on-one matchups, separate from guys, go up and get the tough catches, the tough balls where if Cooper Kupp's not open, people are going to double him. We just want you to go win those one-on-ones, be somebody that can go up and we throw it up when somebody's trying to play tight coverage man-to-man against you. You're going to come down with the football, and Matthew can trust you to do that. And I really think that's what he's going to bring to us, a guy who, without question, Matthew Stafford's going to be the best quarterback he's played with, and I can't imagine how excited he has to be, because he's going to get those one-on-one ops when you're playing across a guy like Cooper Kupp. They're trying to take one of the two guys out, or they're going to play zone, and they're going to have two guys.
Did it help? Maybe a silly question. Going down, I know where the scoreboard is. Did it matter?
I don't really think so. You did feel at home. I mean, it did feel like, not necessarily the crowd, but just what you're used to. And I don't know if that really made as big a difference. I think one of the things that really helped us the most is winning that NFC Championship game, because that was a game where both, two times we played them in our stadium, the Niners, the crowd is by far in their direction the first time, and probably 50-50 the second time. But really the energy and just the passion in that game, and how loud and how much emotion and how good both those football teams were, it really prepared us for, when you get in the Super Bowl, the same mistake we made in 2018. It's not about, it has to be a perfect day and everything has to work. Super Bowls are the two best teams that are left. It's going to be, how do you play in the last 10 minutes of the game?
This has been, Andrew, I've said this. It doesn't make sense that the best teams in college football are from the toughest conference. But I'm like, you would think, well, the Pac-12, it's an easier route. What you're saying is my theory, like, everybody looks at the AFC West and the NFC West and goes, it's too tough. And I think, no, if you come out of that, I mean, those games with Arizona are just battles. So you really think the previous games were the difference in the Super Bowl?
I think so, because really, you look at it, we don't have many guys left from the 2018 Super Bowl year. So what experience do you have? All right, in Week 18, that they found a way to win. You get in that same situation in the NFC Championship, another all-out war to the end, you find a way in the fourth quarter to come back and be down 98 to win. The exact same scenario. You've been tested. 6 minutes to go and go down and score. And then we're not and we've just done that against the San Francisco 49ers 2 weeks before that. So we were prepared for the moment.
It's interesting. You guys struggled much more with San Francisco twice than Tampa twice. Matchups matter. Was Cincinnati better than you thought? Were they better in person than on film?
Well, I still got a little Cincinnati heart from playing there for 11 years, so I paid attention to them quite a bit during the season, and I knew what was really cool about them, I thought, is similar to what I would...
That capped this season to just over $62 million. Now, Falcons GM acknowledged that the amount of dead money is a tough pill to swallow, saying they're taking it on the chin this year, but he also thinks it will set them up to have more flexibility and more success in the future. When you hear that number, Colin, what goes through your mind?
I think it's very clear that Houston, Seattle, and Atlanta are saying, listen, Atlanta got to a Super Bowl. This is all but we're going to accumulate draft picks. An hour before Matt Ryan was, they're not going to be a very good team. They're going to get a high pick. They're going to draft a quarterback probably next year, and that's fine. I don't think Kansas City this morning is a Super Bowl team. They got 12 draft picks. If they use 6 of those, they're going to set themselves up for the next 6 or 7 years. So, the key in this thing is your dips are short and your success is prolonged. So, Atlanta was getting to a point where the next couple of years are going to be a mess. They got to just pivot out of it. It's going to be a rough year, and hopefully you're onward to the next 10 years of good.
Yeah, I agree. It was time for them to go their separate ways. But more movement. Malcolm Butler is headed back to New England. He reportedly agreed to a 2-year deal worth up to $9 million with the Patriots. Butler started his NFL career with the team as an undrafted free agent in 2014 and was the hero in their Super Super Bowl win over the Seahawks, clinching the victory with a goal line interception. He spent last season on the reserve retired list with the Cardinals and was released by Arizona in February. Now, this is an interesting move for the Patriots, considering he didn't play in his last game for the Patriots, was with a Super Bowl loss to Philly. We never even really heard what exactly happened. We heard rumors.
I think it's
rumors.
I don't get New England's plan at all. They brought back Butler and Trent Brown. I don't get it. I think they have the worst weapons in the league. I don't know what they're doing. I know everybody at the altar of Belichick worships at the altar of Bill, but this league is changing, and they look like a lot of teams with defensive coaches. They don't look progressive offensively, and I don't get it. Listen, I know everybody in New England, you trust Bill. We've seen 8 years of Bill coaching without Brady. His record is under 500 significantly. So this team, I don't care. They're not close to a Super Bowl bubble. They're not, to me, this morning, they're not even in the AFC. They're not a top 6 or 7 team. The Raiders play them in a neutral field. If you took the 10 best players, Raiders, Patriots, Max Crosby, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Chandler Jones, probably Matthew Judon, maybe the center, Andrews. I mean, honestly, it's 8 Raiders, and the Raiders will be picked by most to finish 3rd or 4th in their division. Malcolm Butler is their Buffalo, who they play twice a year now.
He ended up getting traded to the Titans for a 2023 6th round pick, and Woods said the Rams let him have a say in where he ended up.
Told me they would let me have a say and an impact in my trade, and really just got on the phone, did my research on teams, got to move fast, having a relationship already with the top guys, with them in Buffalo, to the year, being able to join this.
Out during the holidays, the best sellers are back in stock, like the Movement long sleeve shirt. Back in stock, super comfortable. Best looking button down shirt basically with stretch in the fabric. The inlet knit blazer is back. Tailored jacket, but with like sweatshirt material you're not going to find anywhere else. Fairty stores, is there one near you? Look them up, over 40. Comfortable clothes that are perfect for the spring and fall. Also a lot of summer apparel. Dressed up, yet comfortable. Home or at work. Right now, 20% off with the code HERD20. But first go to fairdybrand.com/herd. Use the code, 20% off.
You're listening to The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Colin is live weekdays at noon to 3 Eastern, 9 a.m. to 2 Pacific from Los Angeles. And we're back. We're back to The Herd.
We'd just like to say thank you. The response has been overwhelming. It's been amazing, and people don't say that enough in our business.
Back to The Herd with Colin Cowherd from Los Angeles.
Turf's the brand lawn care pros have turned to for 6.5 decades. BucklerTurf.com. So here we go. Our best for last. So far, it's not done yet. We're waiting for DK Metcalf to go to the Chiefs, Packers, or remain in Seattle. He could go somewhere else. But Alex is going to set him up. Let's give out grades so far. They're almost final grades for free agency.
All right, what off-season grade do you give the Las Vegas Raiders?
I would give them an A. Chandler Jones upgrades their pass rush, big in the NFL, and Devontae Adams upgrades their receiving corps. They lost Casey Hayward, but if you look around the league and where it's moving, pass rushes and weapons are the key major upgrades in both.
What off-season grade do you give the Green Bay Packers?
A D because they lost Zadarius Smith, who's now a Viking. He rushes the passer, and they lost Devontae Adams and have no elite skilled perimeter players in a league where that's increasingly important.
What off-season grade do you give the Cleveland Browns?
I would give it a B. It's still way too noisy. Deshaun Watson could be suspended for 10 games. You also lost Austin Hooper. Jarvis Landry. So there's some losses here. You're more dynamic at quarterback. I don't dispute that. But your quarterback in that division probably doesn't play until November or late October, so I can't give it an A.
And that's a big deal. What off-season grade do you give the Denver Broncos?
I think that's the highest grade, not just because of Russell Wilson, A+, but Randy Gregory and DJ Jones are unbelievably any of their elite pieces up.
What off-season grade do you give the Dallas Cowboys?
They did not study for the test. It's a D. Their offensive line lost 2 starters, their receiving corps lost 2 starters, and they lost Randy Gregory. Now they bring in Dante Fowler, but he's much more blockable than Randy Gregory, and they were forced to make this move because of Ezekiel Elliott, who remains the highest paid running back in the league. You will pay the price if you have the highest paid quarterback, or running back, or wide receiver. There is eventually a price to pay. Dallas paid it.
What off-season grade do you give the Miami Dolphins?
B+. I do like the upgrade at wide receiver with Tyreek Hill and Cedric Wilson and the running back and O-line upgrades. But Tyreek Hill's the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, and you gave up 5 picks for it, 3 of them good picks. So you gave up a ton. It's not like you got it without it. You got to pay him a lot. You gave up a lot of draft capital, and this is still a team that has holes to fill. Cedric Wilson now is a little underrated. Now Tyreek Hill's getting all the attention. Cedric Wilson's a really dynamic number 3 receiver. That's a really big pickup too. Armstead, the left tackle, I like, but he is hurt a lot. So they're going to be a much more dynamic offense, but they pay the price in draft capital.
What off-season grade do you give the Pittsburgh Steelers?
A-. Trubisky is an upgrade. He's not paying him anything. You also went out and got Levi Mitchell, a good corner, and Mason Cole and Miles Jack. So, I like it. In the end, I like what you did. You upgraded your O-line. Not outside of Miles Jack, not spectacular upgrades, but upgrades.
What off-season grade do you give the Cincinnati Bengals?
An A, even higher than the Steelers. Hayden Hurst, kind of a steal at tight end. Lyle Collins, great right tackle. Ted Karras, Alex Kappa, Burrow sacked 70 times. He will not get sacked 70 times. He will not get sacked 50 times with this O-line.
What off-season grade do you give the Seattle Seahawks?
They did get Noah Fant and the linebacker for the Chargers, but they're not. You just can't move Russell Wilson and get 2 for Justin Reed. They have not been terribly active in free agency. They lost Honey Badger.
The Buffalo Bills.
B. Von Miller's nice, but they overpaid for him. It's fine. Listen, he's going to be great in big games when you lead late. So that's an upgrade.
What off-season grade do you give the LA Rams?
Right now, B-. You did lose Darius Williams, a really good number 2 corner, and Robert Woods for your run game's a great pass blocker. But I think Allen Robinson is an upgraded receiver.
Off-season grade for the LA Chargers?
A. Got a tight end, got Khalil Mack, got an elite corner. Liked all of it. Good stuff. Way to go, Chargers. We're out of time. Speak for Yourself is around the corner. Good show today. TJ Hushmanzada in the house. It's the Herd. With the U.S. News.
Come on.
What up, Kilo? Hustle, hustle! Let's go, Kilo!